Greetings, everyone. I'm EpikTek, and this is EpikTek, episode 20. That's right, I looked it up this time. It is indeed... No, it's 21. Last one was 20. This one's 21. You'd think I could count this high. Anyway. Yes, this is EpikTek, episode 21. The last one was 20. The next one will be 22, and I'll try to actually get it right that time. So as you can see, I've made a few changes. I moved our machines over here. That'll give us some more room. We can kind of keep expanding either direction there. You'll note the lack of cables. I'll show you that in a second. And I put right in here our crystal growth accelerators. And we got it hooked up. We're just going to need a couple of things. It's not completely hooked up. They're hooked up to each other, but not into the main system, so they are offline. And if and when I need to use them, I can actually just hook up a piece of cable right there, and then when I'm done, I can remove the piece of cable. But yeah, we're not going to do that for long. I made it a little bit that way. And I did a little reorg here, so I moved the drawer controller over, meaning that one less piece of cable, and it's kind of nice and centered. I like it. And I made a few compacting drawers, which we're going to add in here. Because, well, here's the thing. Sometimes we need gold, and sometimes we need gold nuggets, and sometimes we need gold blocks. And if we put these in a compacting drawer, then now we no longer need to worry about gold, about which thing we need. Like... Here we go. Actually, I'm going to pull these out. And now I'm going to throw them all back in again. They should... Yeah, they all went in there. And what that means is that I don't have to convert to nuggets if I need nuggets. I just use them, and the nuggets will, assume that they're there. You get the idea. And we need to unlock this one and remove that now. And we can do that with all of our metals because, every once in a while we need things like copper nuggets or iron nuggets or iron blocks or whatever. Not to mention, when we've got large quantities of these things, they store in a lot more compressed way. There you go. The other nice thing to have in compacting drawers is redstone. Even though it doesn't have 3 layers, or 3 levels, it is pretty common that you need both blocks of redstone and regular redstone. So this way, you don't actually have to worry about, what forms you've got them in. So I'm going to move a couple of other things into that. Coal is another one. Sometimes we need coal blocks. Sometimes we need coal. I wish we could include coal dust in that, but no, that's a processing recipe. There's a few other things. Technically diamonds can be stored as diamond blocks. I don't believe we have anything with diamond nuggets in them. Don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything with diamond nuggets in there. So it would really just be a 2-layer recipe. But eventually I'm actually going to move, like most of these things we don't have huge quantities of, and they're only 1 layer, you can't break them down or compress them or anything like that. So I'll probably move these into the main system so that they're just stored. We got plenty of room now because I've moved things out, and I also added 2 more 1Ks. So I'll probably convert most of this into compacting drawers, and we'll store all of our metals that way, as well as things like redstone and lapis. We'll store lapis that way because you need lapis blocks for things on occasion and that kind of thing. So, yeah. Now, as promised... Oh, no. I just glanced at my list up here. I got to show you something, and I got to make a little announcement about the next pack. Okay, I was downstairs. I'll show you that in a second, but I was right below us, mining away my own business, and look, I got AutoSmelt again. AutoSmelt. I hate AutoSmelt. So mad. Anyway, luckily it's not as big a deal now because most of the time I'm using my hammer with Silk Touch on it, and then only really occasionally using my pickaxe. And even when I do use my pickaxe, it's on, something that doesn't really matter. I'm in the case of this, I kind of like that that's turning into stone. if I need to break and replace chunks of our walls and whatnot. But it's not that big a deal is what I'm saying. In this layer of the game, it's not a big deal. However, I am going to turn that off in the next version of the mod pack. So look out for the next version. It'll probably be a week or so. I'm not sure. But when the next version comes out, it will not have AutoSmelt as an automatically added level up kind of thing. You can still add it when you want, but it won't get automatically added to a pick to ruin it. I've already made the configuration change in my mod pack here, and if you want to, it isn't too hard to change the configuration in your own. Go into the config files and look for Iguana Tinker Tweaks. I believe it's called main.cfg. Do a quick search for AutoSmelt, and you'll see it listed with a true. Change it to false. You're done. But anyway, let me show you downstairs. All right. Okay. So this is going to be kind of our maintenance area. I'm not going to worry about how it looks because it's mainly going to be for running wire and that kind of thing. So that right there is our capacitor bank, which, as you can see, is draining, but is that has already been up over or down below 25% and automatically turned on the reactor, filled itself up, and now it's going back down. So that system is working, as well as these are connected into our machines there, and I'm going to move all the rest of them. And then this right here is to let me know where the bottom of the crystal growth accelerator pool is. So that piece of cobble is directly below us. Let's get going on that. Let me have some lunch real quick. Yummy. No idea what I just ate, but I'm sure it was delicious. All right. So here's the thing. You know, when you're automating stuff, it's not normally too difficult. You know, I almost forgot. Speaking of automation, I don't want to forget to tell you this. I did find out that the traps can be somewhat automated. So I threw some more grain bait in there, and we've gotten one leather. Exciting. I did, however, discover that when this is set to extract, it will pull everything. So I had to throw a item filter in there and tell it blacklist grain bait. So it'll pull out everything that's not grain bait. Otherwise, it takes out your bait. That's not helpful. So that's all. You've seen me automate other things that way, and it's just kind of working away and doing its thing. Okay, now back to this. So the problem with automating this system is that, well, you've got an item floating in water. You can't hook up a pipe to that. You can't. How do you know when it's done growing? That's a tough one. I know of exactly 2 mods that are capable of handling the automation of the crystal growth accelerators, or really a pool, a pool of water with those AE2 seeds in them. You can either use a turtle from Computercraft, which basically picks up the items, looks at them, and if they are correct, puts them in a chest. If they're not ready, puts them back. You know, just every 30 seconds, pull them out, throw them back, or whatnot. Or good old Steve's Factory Manager, which we've seen a couple times now. This is definitely the way we're going to go. So we're going to make ourselves a Steve's Factory Manager, but we're going to need a couple of other things. For one thing, we're going to need inventory cable. I think we need just the gold from this. Grab 2 of those. So inventory cable allows us to connect other parts from Steve's Factory Manager to the actual manager, which is where all the programming whatnot goes. We're going to need a Redstone Emitter, which requires one of our inventory cables. And we're going to need, I gotta remember, I think it's the item valve. Yeah, that's the one. So we're going to need 2 hoppers for that. And we're going to need... Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah. We're going to need a dropper. Okay. No. Where's the item valve? There it is. All right. So now we've got ourselves an inventory manager, an item valve, a redstone emitter, and we should probably grab a chest as a place to actually put these things when they're done. And I'm going to go put this key away because I don't need to be carrying it around with me. And here's how this is going to work. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Something called a toggle bus. Okay, so there's an ME toggle bus. It's fairly cheap to make, as you can see. And we have all the stuff for it. It is a... Well, let me show you. You place it on a piece of cable, like so. And you want to be careful about which block it's in. Yes, it is inside the lower block there. And then we're going to need another piece of cable. And now, if we hook this up, you'll notice these are still offline. And they will stay offline until there is a redstone signal given to this block. If you look carefully, you can see that the edge of the block is right here. And the toggle bus is below it. So anything given to that block, and we're going to do it from right below there. I don't know why I just got XP for that. That was weird. We're going to do it from right below there with a with a redstone emitter. Okay? Now, right now, by default, the redstone emitter does not put out any redstone signal. We're going to get to that later. Below this, we're going to have the item valve. And you got to be careful when you're placing this. You want to make sure you're standing above it. Okay? And you can kind of see. Maybe we need to, let's see if we can get a bucket here and pull that out. So you can see this. There is a dot on this side. That means that it is looking at this block space right here where the water is, which is exactly what you want. Now we're going to go downstairs and do the rest of the work down there. All right, let's get rid of that. So there's our item valve, and you can see that it's not a black hole there. It is, let's see, that should be the redstone emitter. Go ahead and put that there. Yeah, we can see the crystal growth accelerator. The top actually is black in the middle, so we should be good there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take our inventory cable and our machine manager, and oh, we need a space for the chest. Get this out of the way. We're going to want to put the chest somewhere. Let's see, where do we want the chest? Let's put the chest, so we've got the that and that and that. Let's put it back here. Yeah, let's put it there. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so we're going to put a piece of inventory manager or inventory cable there, and then we need to connect the redstone emitter and the item valve. And yeah, that's perfect. So now the inventory manager is connected to that piece of inventory cable, those two pieces of inventory cable, the item valve, and then above this, the redstone emitter. And now I'm going to go upstairs and put this chest on top of that piece of cable that's right there. Ooh, okay. I think that's good. Good? Yes, we're good. All right, let's do the rest of this downstairs. So, oh, nope, almost. I need a couple of things because we need some samples. No, we don't need samples. That's right. This is Steve's inventory manager. This is not most other mods where you need a sample to select the item that you're doing something with. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time showing you how I program this, so I'm going to cut right here, and I'm going to be back when I'm done with the programming, and I'll just give you a quick, brief overview. Okay, I think I've got it all figured out here. I'm not 100% positive. We're going to find out. I just threw it together and, you know, I will succeed or fail in your presence. So here's how this works. We've got a once a second trigger. These are just kind of standard triggers. And the condition is if the item valve and the target is up, though I don't think that's actually necessary because it has that black dot where it's looking. If any of these, a Certus quartz seed, a nether quartz seed, or a Fluix seed, is found there in any quantity, fuzzy detection is very important because the actual seed has a percentage on it. And if you don't do fuzzy detection, it will turn on just long enough for that to go to 0.1 and then turn off again. So that's what that fuzzy detection is, and you got to do it for all three. Make sure you check if any, not requires all, otherwise you'll have to have all of those in there. The true condition is our Redstone Emitter is going to output a signal strength of 15, really any signal strength will work, and we don't want to use a pulse. And then if the condition is false, then change the output to 0. Keep in mind that the way that these emitters work is you have turning it on or turning it off. If you don't have a false turn off, then it will be true once, it'll turn on, and it'll never turn off again. Over here, we're saying if that same item valve sees a pure Certus, a pure Fluix, a pure Nether, or a Fluix crystal, because keep in mind, we throw those in there too, but we don't need to turn on the accelerators because it's an instant process. Then grab those with the inputter and output them, anything you have grabbed, to the chest. And that should be all we need. So we can test this out a couple of ways. One, let's make some seeds. Let's see. I believe, yeah, I've got a little bit of nether quartz dust. Let's grab one of those and a piece of sand. I'll just do that. It gives us 2 quartz seeds. So in theory, so right now the power is 0 and these are offline. If I throw those in there, by the way, Control Q will throw the whole stack in. Aha, you see that immediately turned on, and these are online now. And they're not being grabbed because they're not done. Those are still seeds. It's not until they're crystals that they'll be grabbed and put into that chest. And in theory, once those are done, which shouldn't be too long, we've got 3 of these things going, and if we ever want to, we can add a 4th. We'll just have to wrap the cable around to connect to it. And by the way, you're probably looking at this saying, hey, why didn't you just come across the middle? That would use less cable in the end. The reason is we're going to eventually have, for complete automation, we're going to have something sitting in the middle dropping the seeds into here. So we need to leave that space open eventually. We might as well just plan on that from the very beginning. All right, and then Fluix crystals are... let's see, they are charged Certus and redstone and nether quartz. We're just going to throw those in, and I'm going to try and back up so I don't automatically grab them. And let's just do this and like that. And then in theory, because you know if they complete while you're there, then they kind of just jump into your inventory. Yep, look at that. Fluix crystals are actually, that just automatically happened as soon as they became Fluix crystals. The system grabbed them and threw them in the chest. And now these are still going. They look like they're about halfway done, but I'm betting that's going to work since it, since it turned on properly and it grabbed those Fluix crystals properly. I'm thinking that's it. So a simple program saves you a ton of time. All you have to do is, for at least in this situation, just throw them in and wait for them to complete, and you don't even have to worry about being there. You can just grab them there. Cool thing is, what if we didn't want to grab them from there? I mean, what if we wanted to? What if we wanted them to just go straight into this system? Wouldn't that be cool? Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Let's see. It's called an interface. So the interface is a nice little tool that to any automation system, and actually, if I can get that before that finishes, to any automation system, it looks just like... well, that's not going to really work. Yeah, that's not going to work. Well, I'll explain that in a second. To any automation system, it looks like a chest. And if we right-click and open this, it looks complicated, but all of these spaces right here, if I throw something in there, they just get sucked into the system. Now, in a minute, they're not going to get sucked into the system, because as soon as those are done, this redstone signal is going to turn off, and that toggle bus is going to turn off. Oh, look, it just happened. Now, why isn't that pulling in? Because we don't have a chest here anymore. So we have to go tell Steve's that that it's not a chest that we want to put it in. It's actually this ME interface. But the problem is, this ME interface, well, you see, I put this in there, and it's not going to go into the system because it's no longer hooked up to the system. Because the ME toggle bus is turned off. So we're going to grab another piece of cable, and we're going to hook this in. How? I guess, yeah, actually we need 2 pieces of cable. Or I'm going to redo all this later. One day you're going to watch an episode and be like, oh, wow, everything's different. Okay. And don't worry about this. We can, well, here, we can just do this. Disabled. And that should be fine. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. Okay, so in theory, yeah, there we go. It's pulling in now. Just toss all that in there. And now if I go and tell Steve's, hey, you can go ahead and use that like a chest. Yeah, see, it's even telling me, hey, I don't know what happened to that. Where is it? And as soon as I hit ME interface, the exclamation point goes away, and those pure crystals should be in our system. See, they're gone from there. Unfortunately, I don't know how many we had before. Those are online? Why are those online? Oh, those are online because they're getting power from the ME interface. Well, that's not going to work. Hang on. So this is a good time to show you something else. I need this, and 2 sticks. Is that right? No? Okay, I need to look it up. It's called a quartz cutting. Oh, I need 2 pieces of quartz. I can never remember that. So one of these and a piece of any metal, by the way, will make you what's called a cable anchor. These are pretty handy. So I'm just going to really quickly pull that out. I'm going to hold down Shift, right click, and put a cable anchor there, and then put this back down. And as of right now, these 2 are no longer connecting. So it's just a way of getting in between the 2 and stopping them from connecting. And now these are offline because they're no longer getting power from anywhere. Good? Enough? You know, I'm doing this really inefficiently. I could actually, if I pull this and this, I can put that there, and then I can put that there, and it's still inefficient. Whatever. We can throw those away. This is done. This is complete. Well, I mean, the output, the processing and output part of this are done. So anytime we want some more fluids, we can just toss it in there, and away it goes. Eventually, like I said, we're going to also automate the input that will actually put things in here. But for right now, we don't need to worry about that. Oh, as a matter of fact, I never thought about it. We could, I think. Oh, we'll play with it later. I think we're done with this episode. This is enough. Good? Yes? We've done that. We did that. I think we're good. So next time I'm going to have a few more of those going, and I might reorganize a little bit more because this is starting to get real messy, this cabling back here. And I'm going to put a lot of it underground like I did with this. Into the maintenance area below so that it looks a little neater. And really, the only things I want up here are the things that I need direct access to. So if I need to do something with the sag mill, then I want it up here. But I don't need to touch the cables. I don't need to touch, etc. I might even move these cables to downstairs so that I don't even have to look at that. Yeah. All right. We'll play with that later. That's enough for now. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time on EpikTek.